One important car at the VW stall this year at the Detroit Auto Show is this. It's the VW Jetta. It's the new version, it's the new generation. It's bigger, it's better, it's got more features, and the base price is cheaper than the previous version. So what's it all about? Let's find out. The front of the new VW Jetta follows with the new refreshed take on VW design. It's still understated, it's still very serious in some aspects, but it kind of takes the elements from the new VW cars that we've seen in the recent past. For example, the way the headlights kind of merge into the front grille is very reminiscent of the new VW Arteon. Of course, you get the LED headlamps. As we go further down, the two-dimensional logo, which means that this has the radar sensor for the adaptive cruise control. In fact, the new VW Jetta has a whole host of all the new driver assistant features like adaptive cruise control, lane keeping assist, blind spot monitoring, traffic sign recognition, the bunch. Large, wide grille, again, a low bumper. It's not too over the top, but I think it's very elegant, and this kind of a design always ages well. This car has the SEL trim, which is what it's called in North American markets. Very bright orange color. Very nice wheels as well. These are 17 inches. It kind of has these blacked off and solid design. There's very few openings in the wheel. Very interesting, kind of gives an impression that this is a hybrid of some sort, because usually they do this in hybrid cars, but pretty interesting design. As we go along the side, now this car being longer and wider, it kind of has a much better and more impactful presence on the road. One solid design line starting from the side over here, which goes all the way to the back. A very thick crease that goes over the door handle as well. But I think on the whole it's a very cohesive design, very nice. Large panoramic sunroof that you can see from outside over here. A fairly sloping roofline, but it's more sedan-like than coupe-like over here. And when you come back towards the rear, you will see that I think from this angle, it kind of looks like an Audi A3 or an Audi A4. Let's go see if it does. Like I was saying, from this angle, this kind of a design with that crease coming up here, the rise of the little spoiler lip on the side, and the way the headlamps wrap around, this three-quarter view, I think, really reminds me of Audi's design. But anyway, over here you see the VW badge, the Jetta, and very simple, elegant design along the bottom of the bumper. And unfortunately, like most Volkswagens, these are fake exhaust tips. There is nothing behind them. It's just closed off, but it's just a design cosmetic element. Let's open the trunk. So this doesn't have a... Oh, by the way, you can see the rear view camera. This doesn't have the automatic tailgate. I'm sure that will be an option as well. Very large boot. Thanks to the increase in dimensions, the boot has also become larger now than the previous version. Very flat loading area. You also have tabs over here to flip the seats, as you can see, in a 60-40 fashion. And down here you have the spare tire. Let's take a look inside the new Jetta. The door opens fairly large. It is a slightly bigger door. Very rectangular, very squared off. Materials in the top are nice and soft. There is an insert of a metallic effect plastic. Plastics below that are unfortunately hard. But at this segment of car, that is to be expected, especially in Volkswagens of the recent past. They tend to be using a lot of hard plastics, especially that T-Roc that I did a couple months ago. There's quite a lot of hard plastics in that. Anyway, that being said, getting inside is fairly easy, even though it's this a sedan, it's not a crossover. The car sits a little bit lower, but thanks to this tall body, it's very easy to get inside. It's a very practical car that way. Of course, now you also get the digital cockpit, which has a screen over here and a touchscreen over here, which is, of course, you have different options and different variants for this. And it's something that we're quite used to. We will take a closer look once we actually get to drive the car. And of course, this particular setup, I usually like it because you have the volume knob and the an extra knob on the side to do things such as zoom in and zoom out of the navigation. Anyway, that being said, steering wheel is nice, very standard VW, flat bottom, controls on the left and right. And of course now with the new assistant systems, you have the controls for your adaptive cruise control and such, voice commands. Steering column can be adjusted for reach and rake, definitely. The seat also has full control. In this case, this one is electronic with memory as well. Over here you have your air conditioning vents, seat heater, seat ventilator as well in this particular option car. Dual zone climate control, place to put your phone, USB charger, 12 volts charger, some dummy buttons, which I'm sure will be for different versions later on. This is the transmission, the DSG, cup holders, and give it the shake test. Yeah, it's pretty solid. A contrasting, actually white inside of this cubby hole, and another USB socket as well. There's also some nice ambient lighting over here, as well as some on the door. Fortunately, it's really bright in the auto show, so you can't really see it, but you can see it on my hand. There's a very large glove box. Good to see a large glove box every now and then. It's always very useful. Of course, your CD player and your SD cards up there. There's also some interesting features up here. You have a sunroof, a place to put sunglasses, an SOS button, and things like that. Let's take a look in the back seat. This door is significantly smaller than the front door, and as usual with Volkswagens, the entire door is made of hard plastic. Only a little bit of plush material where your elbow would go. I wish they would really improve upon this. I think this is one point that Volkswagen really has to address. But anyway, let's get inside. Getting inside is again fairly easy. It's a very spacious car. The seat is set to my driving position. I'm 5'8", or about 1.7 meters. I have plenty of leg room. I can slide my feet under the seat. Knee room is also really good. The seat back is a little bit scooped out in the middle, so that also liberates some more space. The seat contour is also very nice. It's got a snug feeling thanks to this contoured side bolstering. The reclining of the back is also in a very comfortable angle. Headroom is good enough for me. I have about this much of headroom, but I can imagine somebody who's a little bit taller might find it a bit uncomfortable back here. But I always like a bright interior with this really light color roof lining and that sunroof and these taller windows. It's a very spacious car on the inside. There's ISOFIX points on the child seats in the back. Of course, you can also tether the seats with the top tether on the side. The seats fold in a 60-40 fashion, as I showed you guys earlier. There's a central armrest with built-in cup holders. Let's just check out the middle seat to see if this is a 5-seater or a 4-seater. Well, there is a central transmission tunnel, but because the footwells on either side are fairly large, you can easily share them with your co-passengers. The seat itself is fairly flat. It's not that uncomfortable. The back is a bit stiff because of that plastic inlay for the cup holders, but otherwise, on the whole, this is a 5-seater. Here we have a different color. It's a very light blue color, similar to Thomas Blue, which Thomas really likes here on this channel. The hood is also really nice. I like the way they have all these creases, lines over here, a thick crease over here, one more over here, a very subtle line down the middle, and this power dome, as they call it. I think it's got a very nice, elegant design. Oh, there is no gas charged strut. There we go. There's some insulation on the top as well. Now, excuse me. Now, in the US, you only have one engine option currently. I'm pretty sure this is what will be available in Europe as well. I asked the PR and that's what they've said. We are yet to confirm, but this is the 1.4 TSI. This is the standard TSI from before. It makes 150 horsepower. It's transversely mounted, so it's a front-wheel drive layout. Apart from the blue and the orange color, there's also a white VW Jetta that we see here in the stall, as well as a nice silver one. Finally, there is the R-Line Jetta with orange color as well. The new Jetta will be available in dealerships this May, and like I said, the base price for the entry-level Jetta is $18,500 US, which is less than the previous version's base price. So you get a bigger car with more features, latest technology and safety, as well as infotainment, and a new design for a lower price. Well, the truth is, when you want all the options and you spec it out, it's going to be a lot more than $20,000, $25,000. But the VW Jetta has always stood the test of time. It is a very reliable car. It's a very practical car. And now it's an up-to-date, fresh car as well.